Hey you. I'm Champ 5, and shout out to the Source Talk podcast. You already know what it is. Let's go.
Yes, top of the top, Motion Sickness Chronicles, man. It's fight week. You know how we do. We've been staying consistent with the content. And in doing so, let's do a little fight week coverage. I didn't want to say big fight, but it's a fight, right? And the reason why I didn't want to say big fight is because this is a pay-per-view fight, but it doesn't have a pay-per-view vibe. It's a fight, but it just doesn't have the vibes, man. And I think that overall, that's where boxing is at right now. Will it ever get back to where it was at, mainstream and being very glamorous, glitz and glamour? We have to wait to see. But right now, by no means is this a premier boxing thing. This is a boxing thing. This is a YouTube boxing thing. This is just a boxing thing. Because I think a lot of times we tend to get caught up in the illusion, but the illusion is over. I've been covering boxing on the underground level for almost 2 decades. I've been covering it on the industry level for almost a decade, consistent. I have my ups and downs, my trials and tribulations, my bumps and bruises, but I have a catalog of experience like no other. And contrary to what most YouTubers sit online, live streaming for hours, want you to believe and talk about, boxing is no longer mainstream. And YouTube, live streaming, content creating is not the wave that's going to get it back there. And I say that respectfully. But this is a fight week. And if you're following the coverage of this fight week, this is a pay-per-view fight week, but it does not have that pay-per-view vibe nor pay-per-view feel. Now, granted, like I said, the last big fight week, Shakur, Lopez, younger guys. But prior to that, it has to be the Crawford Canelo. Like all of these fights that are built up were supposed to be like these massive events. Hold on. Yeah, now back to what I was saying. All these events and these fights that's supposed to be massive events, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors and hype. Now, being that somebody that has been on the scenes, behind the scenes, and a part of this for, like I said, quite some time, I just speak on my experiences. And then 2 ears, 2 eyes, I observe a lot. And I also follow what we like to call the revenue, the money. And the money, the revenue, the networks, they've been showing us that. They've been highlighting the fact that boxing is a dying sport. If we base it off of what's transpiring now, Top Rank has finally secured a deal. But they was without a promotional network broadcasting deal since July of last year. Here it is, March. They just announced a new venture with DAZN, and congratulations to them. But their former home, ESPN, did not renew with them. They renewed with Jake Paul. Golden Boy, another company, big time boxing promotion company, has just renewed their network or broadcasting deal as well. And I want y'all to follow this, right? They're with DAZN as well. Now, if you guys remember, I don't know, maybe some of you do, maybe some of y'all don't, maybe some of y'all don't want to, but when DAZN first came onto the scene, right, I remember covering Rocky Felding and Canelo Alvarez at Madison Square Garden. And this is when DAZN was like launching in America. Because remember, they got Canelo, they signed Canelo. And it was like a big thing. And I just remember at that time, I was still like I am now, but I was more programmed towards pushing PBC narratives, because the PBC still was very much strong. Al Heyman had all of the networks, basically Showtime, all of the networks. He was rocking and rolling, and DAZN was the laughing stock. A lot of the narratives on the YouTube, the internet, was that DAZN was going to flop. DAZN and Matchroom and those guys really was going to flop. Fast forward to 2026, 3 out of the 4 major boxing promotional companies have deals that are being broadcasted on DAZN. The last one still has their own thing going on with Prime Video, and they have a pay-per-view fight this week that isn't like what they used to be. You feel me? We're going to get into that. We're going to break this down. I'm going to try to stay on for an hour or give y'all a good hour. But they're not what they used to be, man. And this is just boxing, but it's showing. Because like I said, when Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, was at their height, their glory days, they was not a pay-per-view model. It was free boxing. Now, yes, you're going to say that time changes, and you are accurate. Time does change. But what happened to the illusion? Because these guys were all stars, or supposed to be stars and big time fighters. But now it's basically like, and I say this respectfully, the streamers, these guys are the big time fighters. They're cutting the checks. They are getting the actual contracts and broadcast license deal. Yeah, Jake Paul got the ESPN contract, not Golden Boy, not Top Rank, not Matchroom. and not PBC. So what does that say about the landscape of boxing? What does that say about the landscape of boxing? You know what it says about the landscape of boxing? What it is, a bunch of content creators that claim to be fans and supporters of a sport, but all they actually do is sit online in a fan forum friendly environment and just gossip. 90% of the independent channels really do not support boxing. Yes, 90%. Now you're going to say, where do you get that number from? That's the number I go off of. Because how many people sit online every day streaming, sitting in debates, arguing, but don't actually go to fights? We can show from the pay-per-view numbers, people aren't buying pay-per-views, but yet there's a whole community that sits online hours after hours, day after day, and they talk about potential fights, they talk about fighters, they talk about boxing, but yet boxing is declining, especially on the mainstream. But yes, that was my opening monologue. Hopefully you guys caught that. But let's get over here now. Being that I'm almost 12 to 15 minutes in, that's enough of my rant. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, like the content. This probably will definitely be airing this morning, This morning, we do a lot of the Source stream and our Source radio and those type of vibes, right? But it is fight week. So with that being said, let's highlight some of the festivities that have been going on for Fundora Thurman. Now, this video is courtesy of Fight Hub TV.
Dry eye relief with both contact lenses before using MyBo. Wait at least 30 minutes before putting them back in. Eye redness and blurred vision may occur.
I am going to stop
Ask
and
about
go,
MyBo.
stop and go.
Not much longer now, and I will also take to the skies.
Me too.
You? No, you will always be a worm.
Just wait and see.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Keith one-time Thurman is a legend in the ring, but world champ Sebastian Fundora is towering above the competition. Can Thurman win a major world title?
This is the fight. And this is boxing now. This is fight hype. These are the more bigger machine type of channels that are pushing the envelope now. Shout out to Fight Hype, Fight Hub, TV, the Boxer Voice. It is what it is, right? Cam and Mace, or I think it was Cam and Treasure Wilson and Sean Chattel. They did the premier boxing open the bell event. I would use that content. I may use the clip from that, but I'm kind of on the fence with the PBC stuff because, when you use their content, even though this is what everybody does, and my calling and saying it's cool when they do it, right? When you use certain people's content, they always tend to try to flag you, even though you are doing everything that other people do, right? That's why you see me stopping and going and talking. That's what we're going to do with this, right?
One more time. Fundora versus Thurman, Saturday live on PBC on pay-per-view on
Yeah, see, this is a pay-per-view fight, y'all. Pay-per-view. I got to keep highlighting that because I don't think it's going to do nothing, respectfully. Not only it's not going to do nothing, Premier Boxing Champions came in the game, free boxing. Now we're paying for Keith Thurman, a guy who has really not been that active towards the latter years of his career, latter stages. And a young guy, Fundora, who does he even have a pay-per-view fan base? Just putting that out there. Put it in the comments, man. Put it in the comments, though.
On video.
On Saturday night, he challenges for the WBC welterweight title against Sebastian Fundora.
Yeah, see, this is boxing now, right? Shout out to It Is What It Is. That is Treasure Wilson. From It Is What It Is, right? Stat Baby, right? These guys and girls, she's a girl, right? Female, shout out to her. They are pretty much the new media segue. Like, remember, it used to be a lot of the YouTube channels, especially when I was in the trenches. They used to use, barbershop conversation, Fight Ego. Did I say, Boxing Ego? I said Fight Ego, Boxing Ego. All of these type of guys, right? I think that's what made the PBC kind of crash and burn. Now, look, they jumped off of those guys, those YouTubers, and now they got the much bigger YouTubers with a more stronger machine behind them.
Live on PBC pay-per-view on Prime, Keith One-Time Thurman.
Stop now. Look at the atmosphere, man. As somebody that has covered many events, the Barclays Center, with no credentials, might I add, right? No credentials, open to the public type of events. Granted, this is Vegas, but Vegas is a big fight town. Look how empty it is, y'all. This is a pay-per-view fight. Look how empty it is, y'all. Now, I know a lot of y'all might not want to tap in with that for whatever reasons, because, a lot of y'all are in denial. They don't want to accept the fact that certain people, yes, my hand is raised, but the camera's also you can't see, myself been highlighting and speaking on these things. So I got to, like my guy Lester would say, pop it, man. Because the writing is all over the wall. But, you're going to get these guys that sit online, come on today for hours and hours, click up, link up, and act like, it's going down, or act like this is what it is. No, it's not what it is, and it's showing, man.
What's up, Keith?
What's up, bro?
Keith,
yeah, bro.
Right, it's showing.
Keen's arm strength is just crazy.
It is
Cy Young, second year.
He doesn't even look like he's trying. It's just effortless.
What's scary is there's.
Good.
Keith, great to see you. Fight week is here. Please talk to us about how camp has been.
Oh, man, camp's been great, man. This fight's been a long time coming. We were already, anticipating this fight last year, so, sometimes.
All right, let me stop it now. Yeah, remember this, Fundora got hurt. Fundora was injured. But a lot of people were saying that the people were saying that it was the ticket sales too. That's why the fight wasn't selling. The fight's probably not selling again. Look at this presser. It's in the lobby in they're in the MGM Grand, if I'm not mistaken, but they're in the lobby. Remember Spence Crawford? Granted, it's a much bigger fight, but that was in Vegas too. Canelo, anytime Canelo does something that's in Vegas, is bigger magnitude. But this is also a pay-per-view fight, man. This is a pay-per-view fight with this type of energy.
Sometimes you gotta wait to let the beat drop and just have that anticipation, man. But this is just one of the greatest matchups of the year. This is just a great fight for boxing, for fight fans, and for the sport right now. Obviously, it's a great opportunity for myself, Keith One-Time Thurman, back at the elite stages, going for the WBC world title. And man, I'm just so grateful, happy to be here. What's up, Las Vegas?
Like I said, I like Keith Thurman. Got a fire interview with him. You follow the channel. He's good. He has the gift of the gab, as you can see right here. But I just think, like I said, man, boxing is on a decline, man. This guy was a star. He was one of the faces of the PBC. This is the pay-per-view fight. Boxing is on a decline, y'all. It's on a decline. Will it ever return back to the glory? Who knows, man? Who knows? It needs a spark. Will it get that spark? We have no idea.
Keith, I seen a recent interview when you said that Sebastian still has a memory of still getting knocked out. And I was like, he seems like he wants to knock this guy out. He said you capping. He said that you don't think that, and that you don't think you're gonna knock him out, and that Sebastian's past that.
All right, now they got Cam. Now, my thing is this, no disrespect to Cam, but I don't think Cam doing this is helping either. And the reason why I'm gonna say that is Cam's audience, right, watches his show on the bottom pay-per-views. Are they going to buy the pay-per-view? But not knocking Cam. Get your chat, do what you do. Get on your Thanos. Bleed the game dry. Because you and Treasure Wilson, Stat Baby got paid probably. But it's your audience, you know, the people that listen to your show and watch your show. Are they going to buy this pay-per-view? Are they going to buy this pay-per-view? I think not. Because majority of them, they are the gossipy type. They like messy, shade room type of content. But we'll wait to see. I could be wrong. I'm just pointing out that this is my content. I don't think they're gonna do anything. And the PBC, if you know how they get down, that's how they get down. They like to, and I guess that's the album thing. They love to cater to, you know, the music industry type of people. Like I said, I don't think your audience, your people that watch your YouTube channel that are subscribed to y'all are going to even really support this event. Just putting that out there.
What do you have to say to that?
Look, okay, let's talk about, let's do it from a reverse order.
Okay.
Let's start with Sebastian is past that, right?
Yeah.
He is, right?
Yeah.
He's done a lot. He's redeemed himself. He's steamrolling. But see, this is what you got to really analyze what Thurman says, right? I'm not talking about that he's scared of.
Man, Keith was good with a microphone. He could fight too. Well, when his career is over, he's definitely going to be on somebody's walkout. Definitely will, right? Just doing a little snacking because it's cool when they do it, right? But he's definitely going to be on somebody's. He's definitely going to be on somebody's commentating stage.
Being knocked out right now. That's not what I said, right? I said that on a cellular level, that his body, it's not his conscious mind. This is, man, you got to understand psychology, people. This is his subconscious.
Okay.
This is in the back of the hemisphere. That when I hit him, I can hit him on the arm. I can hit him to the body. I can hit him on his cheek. I can bust him in the nose. That heavy hitter, the first time it hits him, he's going to know that he's in with a real puncher. This is boxing. You got people who box. You got people who...
Now, how do y'all feel about that? Keith, he was one time, a long time ago, right? Well, this boxing, anything can happen. But he's moving up in weight. He was one time at welterweight. One time, a long time ago. But we have seen Fundora get caught with a shot that Keith Thurman could possibly throw. Wide looping overhand. Shout out to Amani. Amani was working on that punch yesterday. Right? Yesterday. Because when this airs, this will probably be Thursday. So let me say that right. Yesterday. But yeah, Keith is spot on with what he's trying to build and create his storyline and narrative. But it's boxing, so I'm not going to say it can't happen. A puncher could punch and land a shot and it can happen. But we haven't seen Keith do this, is my whole thing. Yes, Keith was one-time Thurman a long time ago. Still is one-time Thurman, but does he still have that one-time power that he's talking about right here in the video? Put in the comments if you feel free to give your assessment.
You know, and you got people that rock it, pop, 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 you know, and so when the heavy shot comes in, there's something in his whole body that's going to remember for him. This is going to be a reaction, like a gag reflex, right? This is going to be a reaction that he can't hold back. It's got nothing to do with what I say. It's got nothing to do with how I feel, and it doesn't got nothing to do with what this man says. You know what I'm saying? So this is just psychology, people.
Yes, you heard what he said. Stop it. Psychology. He's selling the fight. Or attempting to sell the fight, because there's the fight selling. But this is psychology. And this is what boxing has come to. Psychology. The sell. Smoke and mirrors and the illusion. And right now, the illusion, the Matrix is over, man. The Matrix is over. This is a pay-per-view fight. Less than a couple days away. And the aura is not there right now, man. Maybe some of you guys will come on later on, sit on for 3 hours or 4 hours, send out the bat signal, and argue and debate. But, you know, this is what's been going on for years. And that is why, like I said, boxing is where it's at right now. Where the guys that really support the streamers, they're winning. And the actual fighters, and this is no shot at Keith, but the actual fighters that have been doing the psychology tricks and illusions and all this, you see what's going on. They don't have what we like to call the streets. They don't have the voices.
This is being a warrior, a gladiator. When you step into that arena, when you know what it's like to put your life on the line, yeah, we're grown men. Now that's a lie. Every man has fear, but can you bring it out of them? And that's what I'm planning to do Saturday night.
How's biz, Ash? Great, especially with the help of zero accounting software. I can keep my cash flow flowing by giving customers more ways to pay.
Search zero with an X. I think, the one time.
It all started on eBay when I landed on a T3, T4 turbo, but my brother was.
Right. He's politics.
Well, Keith, you got he said a few things, and you took it all the way to the subconscious molecular level on that one about
that's how it
Sebastian
works,
Fundora.
baby. That's where my statement's coming from. It's going to be a memory, a cellular memory. It's going to be a reverb. Just like when that bass hits, boom, boom, boom. When you in the back of the club and it's hitting you in the chest, boom, boom. It shakes every cell.
I told you, Keith, whether he wins this fight and becomes a champion again, or takes the L Saturday night, he's definitely got a promising future in broadcasting, commentating something, because he knows how to talk. And hopefully all of y'all are in agreement on that. But shout out to Sean Chattel, Fight Hype. It's good to see him elevating. A lot of these guys that I call agents, industry agent guys, they are excelling. They are transforming. Right? They are becoming bigger than just their channels. Right? And he's on the stage now too. So it's good to see him here, right? But this is the sign of the times, man. Whereas boxing, and like I said, this is not about the PBC. It's just that they happen to have a fight this upcoming Saturday night, a pay-per-view fight, and I'm doing my content, I'm doing my reaction, I'm doing my breakdown. But it just goes with what I have been saying since I really started taking streaming and podcasting more serious. Boxing, especially this right here, YouTube boxing, never really was helping the game. It was all smoke and mirrors, like I've been saying. A lot of YouTubers and the YouTube audience that sit online, they do not support boxing. They don't support it. They haven't been supporting it. Look at this event. It's empty. It's empty. But like keep cooking, man. Hopefully y'all liking the sauce. Like, share, subscribe. The news by Shanewz Motion Talk.
Well, the body, baby.
Yeah, I think it's a healthier bit of fear that he's gotten since that knockout, though. And it showed, like I was telling Cam, it showed in that first Zoo fight, but I think he's back, like you said, steamrolling guys again, but with a healthy cautious of knowing his mortality.
No, so the fear helped him evolve, right? Sometimes in life, you got to be knocked down before you really move forward. You got to take a few steps back before you can really grow and evolve.
Now, that was a jewel right there. Let me give Keith his flowers. That is correct. I'm dealing with that right now, being knocked down and getting back up and growing. That is a fact. So Keith, you are spot on. Like I said, when it comes to talking, the gift of gab and the microphone, I don't see too many people messing with you, Keith. To be honest, you are the man. I have to give you your flowers on that, brother. I interviewed you. I got it in with you. I got a fire drop from you. You always had that. That is why, shout out to my guy Malik, is Brooklyn in the house. I'm rooting for you, man. I said it. A lot of people don't think you got a chance. And I said you have a puncher's chance if you can land something on Fundora, right? But that's why I'm rooting for you, man. And I think that if you are to win, right, you can maybe possibly spark something, because that's what these guys need. Not for nothing, these YouTubers, they're holding on to the guys from your era. And I said this, I said if, and the content is out there, check it out, right? I did the live stream, I talked about it. I said, man, if Keith Thurman wins, it could spark it back up. Because all the older guys, the Charlos, the Spencers, they could possibly, and I say this respectfully, get back in the loop. And that's all these guys do, because if you follow my track record, most of these guys are Earl Sexuals. I think that's the name they used to use on YouTube. These guys are the fanatics of Earl Spencer. Earl Spencer has been inactive forever and a day. But him and Keith Thurman have a history, a non-history. Right? Spence was supposed to fight Fundora. They're saying that he's going to fight Tim Tszyu. But if Thurman is able to beat Fundora, this will put Spence, Charlo, all the guys from that era, you know, that flagship of the PBC, heavy in rotation, that could possibly spark something. Because right now, there is no real spark. That's just my assessment. You know, comment, feel free to disagree and tell me how you feel, you know. But this is the news by Shanewz.
Elevate yourself, right? And we don't want to experience this in life. We all want comfort. We want to sit at home. We want to have our chips. We want Netflix. We want AC units, you know. We want everything so comfortable in life. But when life gets real, it gets really uncomfortable, right? And then that's where you grow. Keith Thurman has grown. I'm 30 years.
Another gem he gave. I got to stop it. 'Cause like I said, Keith has that gift, man. Keith is sharp with the tongue. But what he just said is A1 sauce. A1 steak sauce. He's cooking the beef, but he has to actually cook the beef Saturday night. But when life gets tough and real, that's when it gets real. That's when it gets real. Keith, you are spot on, brother. Spot on with that, man. But Saturday night, man, you need to land something big. You're going up against a formidable champion. Look, I can't even say opponent. He's a champion. He's a mutant, so to say. It's 6'7", fighting at 154. But we seen him get flabbergasted by a big overhand shot by Brian Mendoza. Something that you could possibly land. But we also know that he does things that seemingly can break you down inside fighting. Body shots. But you are a crafty vet. You can move and groove. You get on your bicycle. So we have to wait and see. Right? We have to wait and see. Now, this is me talking a little bit boxing. Over the reaction. Right? Over the reaction. Like I said, I'm trying to give this an hour. So I'm pretty much about 20 minutes off from that. So I am throwing in a little breakdown assessment in here in between playing the clips. But I don't want to take away from my thesis. This is a pay-per-view fight week. This is a pay-per-view fight, but yet the pay-per-view energy is not there. But nonetheless, the fight is Saturday night. How are the ticket sales looking?
In the game, this young man is growing today. And we're both going to bring all our knowledge, all our wisdom into this up-and-coming fight Saturday night. And that's one of the things that makes this fight so great.
Let me ask you about what Sebastian said at your press conference, your virtual press conference last week. I'm sure you heard it. You were on the call. He said the OGs, he says older fighters, a lot of them really shouldn't be fighting anymore. So what do you say to Sebastian Fundora if he's not just coming? What's your response if he's not just coming to win?
Right, let me stop it. I like that what Sebastian said. Now he has to step on Keith. Before I even hear what Keith says or react to what Keith said, I like Sebastian saying that they shouldn't be fighting. Basically saying they're in the way. So now you have the opportunity to knock him out the way. Knock him out the way. But I like that.
He's not just coming to stop Keith Thurman. He's coming to retire Keith one-time Thurman at the MGM Saturday night.
I mean, he better. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't got no plans on retiring. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to think big. And then wherever that limit is, whatever your biggest thought is in life, you got to break that down and go bigger than that. You know?
Yeah, that's the 10-time rule right there. That sounds like the 10-time rule. Never put a limitation on your goals. Yeah. But Keith, man, he said he's trying to retire you, brother. He wants to retire you. Is he going to retire you? Some people feel that you might get retired, man. They think you just out there for a check. You're selling wolf tickets.
Well, I think he's just trying to have that accomplishment. What's the best thing that I can do? You know, is it win? No. Is it knock Keith Thurman out? Yes. No. It's make Keith Thurman retire, right? And then that's thinking big in life, baby. That's going for the dreams. That's going for the goals, you know? But this is 30 years in the game, man. I'm telling you, it's not just an OG, man. This is hard work. This is dedication.
Man, this is hard work, dedication. Keith is a former unified welterweight champion. One of the original kings of the welterweight division. One of the original faces of the PBC. But now he's facing a big 6'7" strong guy who's talking about retiring him. That's why I said if Keith Thurman can land something big and put this big Goliath down, David versus Goliath, he can spark up the old days. And these guys could make that run. You know? They could make that run. That's just my assessment, man. What do y'all think, man? And I gotta stick with the thesis, man. It's just a sign of times, man. Thurman, Charlo, look, and this ain't about the Charlos, but I'm just bringing the Charlos up because all these guys had it. Charlos, Broner, Spence, Thurman, list goes on and on. They was the business. When the PBC was on top, it was these guys. These guys were larger than life. You know, the PBC machine was larger than life. But yet now, and this is just not about the PBC, but boxing period, but this is the PBC fight week. It's just a sign of the times. Like, I say this all the time, and shout out to my War Eagles, Dragon Riders, right? I say the jig is up, man. The jig is up, man. Now, this whole interview is 27 minutes long. I'm not going to do the whole 27 minutes, man. Right? I want to get to a little bit of Fundora, right? Fundora is going to come up there. So we're going to move a little ahead. Fundora had on the Dodger jersey. We're going to get to Fundora right now.
Game's about to start.
Yeah, let's go. How's the microphone? Let's go. Let's go.
Keith, let us find out you got some bars, okay? You got some good quotables. Okay, so thank you so much for your time coming up here. But before you go, we do got Sebastian Fundora coming up for the world title. And we are here with the WBC Super Welterweight World Champion, known as the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora.
Here he comes. Yeah, it's kind of awkward, right? Like, this is how they're doing it now, man. Look at Cam's face. This is what's hilarious, man. Is this how they're doing it now, man? Here comes Fundora, y'all. This is a live reaction. Right? Here he comes. He got the Dodger jersey on. LA guy. 6'7".
We've got the WBC Super Welterweight World Champion, Sebastian Fundora.
Look at Keith. Keith wants to do the face off. See, Keith can land something big throwing it up, man. He's laughing at Keith, man. He's probably gonna try to steamroll Keith. Look.
Yeah, confident too.
Man, this is a pay-per-view fight, y'all. Saturday night.
I'm done with it.
Couple nights away.
No, you're doing good, man. You're doing great. Nothing wrong.
What's up, Sebastian? See you, brother.
Let's get a little bit of Fundora.
Oh, you think so?
Hey, Sebastian Fundora, welcome. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Happy to be here. Very grateful to be fighting here in the fighting capital of the world again. Las Vegas, the best crowd, the best people, and excited for Saturday.
He said, best crowd, best people. Too bad there's not a crowd there. It's not a crowd there, but hopefully there'll be a crowd there Saturday night. It should. But just overall, man, like I keep telling you, this is a pay-per-view fight, man. Which doesn't give the pay-per-view energy. Why is that, man? Why is that? And is this format right here going to help that? Like I said, the people that are running the plays, they have an audience. They have channels that are big, large, and in charge that do views. Is this going to translate over, y'all? Will this translate over Saturday night? I don't think so. I'm going to keep reiterating that while I do this breakdown, because I've been standing on that for quite some time, and these are my stamps and my receipts. I do not think it's going to translate over, because it hasn't been. And the jig is up. And feel free to disagree. Put it in the comments, man. That is why you see how I'm doing these now. Instead of doing the actual live stream on this, I am. But this is going to be a pre-recorded video. And I'm going to drop this, right? Work smarter, not harder. I'm, making my transition now, right? Because I feel like a lot of times, not for now, when I do the lives and I actually be on live, whether at the library studio settings or the command center, it was a waste of time, especially speaking on boxing. Because like I said, the boxing community, the YouTube boxing community especially, was built on an illusion. It was built on smoke and mirrors. And now all of that smoke and mirrors, the jig is up. The jig is up. But this is a pay-per-view fight. Let's get back to a little bit of Fundora and see what he's talking on.
You know, Sebastian, you're what people would refer to as a quiet killer. Would you agree with that assessment of yourself? And while Keith is your opposite in that, he's boisterous, he likes to talk before the fight, and you almost always backs it up. But is there a little bit of a bloodlust you like to satiate when you get in the ring? You've talked to me before about that people want to see broken eyes, they want to see broken jaws, they want to see blood. Is that something inside of Sebastian Fundora to satiate each time you fight?
Yes, and this sport of boxing, you know, it's called the hurt business as well. You know, people want to see knockouts, people want to see the blood, people want to see violence. You know.
Listen, I gotta applaud him. Stop it right there. Shout out to Uncle Andre Rozier. That's what he says. We are in the hurt business. Yes, it is the hurt business. But I like his mentality. And shout out to Joe Dini. Joe Dini had to say that too. You know, you're not in it to be nice. You're not in that ring to be nice. You want to hurt your opponent. You want them to feel pain. So you want to get down and dirty. So shout out to you, Sebastian. I like that mentality.
My last fight, I had a shirt that said "Silence is violence." You know, in boxing, there's no talking. You could talk all you want outside the ring, but as soon as you step into the ring, it's a whole different story.
Do you think he's talking too much, and does that get you more mad? It doesn't matter to you going into the fight.
We all know Keith Thurman. We all know Keith Thurman's a big talker. Of course, he backs it up all the time. You know, great fighter. But we all know that he likes to talk. You know, and he'll go on for.
He said he's a talker.
This town ain't big enough for. What's that?
AI music is now on art list. Now you can make.
Keith is a talker.
30 minutes, an hour, and I don't know how he does it. You know, applause to him for doing that because, you know, talking for a minute for me is like, dang, man, time's going so slow. But, you know, he has that talent in talking. So, you know, props to him for that.
For this particular fight, do you think you have to?
That's spot on what I said. Keith has the gift of gab. He has the gift of the gab. But Sebastian is spot on. Saturday night, there's no talking. They got to lace him up. They got to, and I call that Abdullah Mason, I talk with my hands. They have to talk with their hands, man.
To change up anything because of Keith Thurman's resume and his knowledge to the boxing game. What is your strategy coming into? I know you can't give it all away, but do you think you're changing up anything?
Yeah, that used to be one of my key phrases. It still is, right? I see my stamps all over, right? I used to always ask these guys as a field reporter, without giving too much of the game plan away, what could we expect from you Saturday nights? That's basically what Cam just asked them. Excuse me. The news by Shanewz Motion Talk Sickness, UGK, Underground. Yes, the Underground King. Marketing, Management, Media, Shanewz Boxing LLC, stamped and certified. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's see what the game plan is without giving too much of the game plan away.
Thing that you usually do.
Absolutely, but it's just evolving. You know, maturing. We're 28 years old now. This is coming to our third year as a champion. You know, and it's just evolving. You know, my sister fought 2 weeks ago. We saw her. She's 23 years old. She's the undisputed champion at flyweight. And you see her growth, you see her getting stronger. And that's the same thing with me. You know, we've been boxing for a long time, boxing since we were kids, and we're getting stronger, we're getting wiser. We just need to put it inside the ring now.
That's what I was going to ask you. What is it like having another champion in your family?
It's motivational, very motivational. You know, watching her do it and achieve all her dreams, you know, it's of course in her name, but, you know, the whole family feels it. You know, the whole family's happy for her, you know. Every time we see one of our hands raised, it's like, dang, we did this all together.
Right.
Sebastian, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first part of this. You've talked about this fight being a statement, not just a win. Is that right?
Of course. But I feel that that's with every.
Yes, it is a statement. You know why? Keith Thurman is a trophy for him. Regardless of how you slice it or dice it, Keith Thurman is a trophy because I said this earlier in the live stream, and I stand on this. Keith Thurman is from the golden era of the PBC. He was one of the flagship champions and stars, contrary to what people want to talk on or speak on. He was that guy. You know, injuries and inactivity makes people forget about that or not really want to give him his full flowers. But he was that guy. And if Sebastian Fundora does him dirty or steamrolls him, does whatever, that's a trophy. He's a trophy, man. He's a kill. No, like, you know what I mean? Not saying he's gonna kill him or some Ivor drop. If he dies, he dies. But he's a trophy, man. He's definitely a trophy for a 28-year-old. It's a good name to have on his resume. That's putting it better, right? What y'all think, man? Put it in the comments, man. Oh, we are almost at the hour mark. I'll give you a little bit of over an hour, maybe an hour.
But, you know, the last fight we fought Tim Tszyu, and that was kind of a statement as well with getting that stoppage win. You know, a lot of people blame the cut for that fight, but, you know, in our mind the whole time we knew it was more than just that.
Do you think, because one thing you did say, you did do a little bit of talking at the virtual presser, was, you know, some of these OGs, some of these older fighters, they really shouldn't be fighting anymore. Do you think at all about sending him home permanently from the boxing game Saturday night?
That's all up to him. You know, he can. That's his career. He's still fighting right now. He's still fighting for a world title. So that's all up to him. But I do plan on winning this Saturday. You know, and putting another great name like his into my resume.
What?
Man, there it is. See, and we watched this together live, right? Oh, when I play this, we watched this live. See what I said? And I'm going to close on that. You can watch this whole entire joint yourself. But I like what he said. Keith Thurman is a trophy, basically. Another name on his resume, and a big name. That'd be a big name on his resume. Now, when I premiere this at some point Thursday, probably Thursday morning, hopefully you guys enjoy this. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. But I don't want to lose sight of my thesis, my opening monologue, right? Like, it's cool when they do it, right? Boxing will never get back. Is it going to blow up again? Right? Because right now, it's you know, it is what it is. To me, it's stagnated. It doesn't have the motion that it once had. Because, like I said, this is a pay-per-view fight. And I've been on my Dean. I've been pushing my shit for years, part of my language. And I always said that boxing was moving in the wrong direction. I always said that it was too much gimmicks. The authentic players were stolen from. The authentic players weren't given opportunities. The authentic players were shadow banned, overlooked, things of that nature. And I think it got the game to where it's at now. Will it ever be sparked back? I don't know. Because like I said, it's the circle of life. But right now, the actual streamers, Jake Paul, Aiden Ross's, these guys are winning. And the reason why they're winning is because boxing and the boxing streamers, content creator community, they do not actually support and uplift boxing. There's too many gimmicks. There's too many what I like to refer to as jealous fans in the bushes, right? The crows in the woods, right? They watch in the shadows. But in order for boxing to grow and return to where it was at, the shadows, the bushes, the jealous fans need to be real fans and actually support like these streamers and their supporters and their audiences do. But that's just my take, man. And yes, this is an hour. So when I premiere this, hopefully you guys will enjoy this source. Like, share, and subscribe. Now, normally I play my theme music, but, you know, to each his own. This was more of a source radio type of vibe. As you see, I don't even have the camera on. Just when I wanted the listeners and those that's going to partake in this and check this out to listen to the words. Let the message catch your ears. My stamps and receipts are all over the game. This is a pay-per-view fight week that doesn't feel like a pay-per-view fight week. But as a boxing fan, we do have a fight Saturday night. So let's enjoy the fight. But hey, what do I know? The news by Shanewz. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, it's the Motion Chronicles, baby. It's the Motion Chronicles, right? Don't be a jealous fan. Be a fan that gives your opinion, shares your opinion, but also supports boxing. And whether you like or dislike my platform and what I stand for, one thing you can't say is that I never or don't support boxing. Hopefully you caught this sauce.
Check the blueprint, homie, the hustle's total. Shanewz starts the wave, the vision is golden. Top tier manager, I'm running the whole scene while these rookies just dreaming. I'm keeping it clean. Shanewz brand, we the kings of the fight. War eagles soaring, we taking the light. Dragon riders gallop, destroy the competition. Shanewz on top, that's the worldwide vision. Shanewz on top, that's the worldwide vision.
Hey you, I'm Champ 5, and shout out to the Source Talk podcast. You already know what it is. Let's go.